Yo, what's up guys, hope you guys are doing good. So today we are going to see what if Naruto and Yakumo joined Akatski part 2. Hope you will enjoy this video, so before we start please like the video and subscribe to our channel and hit bell notification, it motivates me to upload more fanfics for my lovely audience. So let's get started. Itachi and Kisame jumped through the trees, traveling back the way they came. Itachi, being the calm collected ex-Leaf shinobi, didn't say a word as they pursued the target Jinchuriki Naruto Uzumaki. Kisame on the other hand was beginning to get on his nerves. Itachi, I'll never go into another fucking forest again. Stupid Leaf ninja having the stupid Kyuubi Jinchuriki, Kisame mumbled the second sentence, ruining his image as a bloodthirsty warrior if anyone heard him. Of course Itachi heard him. All morning long. Leader Sama, why did you place me with this moron? Itachi groaned mentally. This was going to be a long trip back to the hot springs. At the hot springs, Naruto gently lowered a naked Yakumo into the steaming water. The girl was only half conscious and had a tranquil smile on her face. The hot water against Yakumo's bare skin roused her enough to talk. However, she was far too comfortable lying in her Naruto-kun's arms to shift or move. It was only when Naruto looked down at her form, grinning maliciously, that Yakumo knew he was up to something. Naruto sat down on the steps just underneath the warm water, still holding Yakumo and lowering her body onto his lap. Oh, that feels so good, Naruto-kun. Yakumo started moaning quietly as the water did little to cool her burning flesh. Yakumo then made one mistake. She closed her eyes. Naruto's hands touched Yakumo's body and brushed down to her sides. His grin got even wider as he started tickling Yakumo. At first it was feather-light touches with his fingers against her sides, making her coo in content. Then his prankster nature kicked in and he began tickling her sides vigorously. Yakumo became fully awake from laughing so hard. She was short of breath and in a difficult situation. Stay on Naruto's lap and probably die laughing, or roll off his lap and into the water, forcing her to swim. Yakumo chose and completely submerged herself. Naruto saw it all and laughed with her. It felt good to laugh like that again. Soon a wet and slightly pissed off Yakumo was laughing too, evilly. Before pulling Naruto close to her, spinning him around before she jumped on his back. Her laugh was now malicious as nature. Pressing her two hands on the back of Naruto's head, Yakumo forced his head underwater using all her weight. Of course Yakumo forgot that her small, petite body didn't actually weigh that much. After only being dunked in the water for a second, Naruto rose up, carrying Yakumo's naked form up with him. She squeaked in surprise and ended up getting a piggyback ride from Naruto. Her brown hair was soaked, yet it was still full-bodied and draping down her back. After calming down, Yakumo rested the side of her head on Naruto's right shoulder, eyes lazily traveling over his whisker marks. Naruto felt his girlfriend's assets pressing against his back and groaned. His need for her returned, but now was not the time. His clone had just dispelled itself in the forest, telling him that his two favorite Akatsuki members were coming back here for him. Yakumo-chan, they're coming. We have to get out and meet them. Unfortunately. Naruto groaned again and rose out of the water. Channeling chakra to his feet, Naruto walked on the surface of the hot springs to where they abandoned their clothes, never ceasing his conversation with Yakumo. The Akatsuki, Naruto-kun. Yakumo guessed while walking on the water behind Naruto, secretly trying to get a feel of Naruto's pecs. Hi. Now get dressed. We have a disturbing reputation to create. Yakumo blinked. Hey. Naruto blinked. What? Just now, you sounded like a leader, you know. Yakumo was looking at him with those calculating brown eyes. Well, Naruto rubbed the back of his head and struggled to keep his tone businesslike. The type he needed to negotiate with the Akatsuki. Especially Itachi. His second clone disappeared suddenly, telling Naruto that Itachi was definitely tracing his chakra with those cool eyes of his. Though he would never admit this to anyone, he secretly admired the Sharingan and was slightly jealous of people with bloodlines. Even if they all became Tems because of it. Naruto and Yakumo quickly finished getting dressed and looking presentable, with no small help from Naruto's clones. Of course Naruto, being the baka he is, didn't realize what 3 Naruto clones in various states of undress touching Yakumo would do to her. She had a full body blush and her knees were nearly buckling before it was over. Naruto finally finished dressing, secretly watching Yakumo getting changed. Sexy little minx. No bad Naruto bad, you're too young. They joined hands, both blushing and not looking at each other's face. They jumped over the walls of the hot spring towards Itachi. Oh 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 oh. Itachi frowned. He knew about the shadow clones, he didn't need his eyes for that. But there wasn't much he could do about it. Obviously the Jinchuriki was using them as an early warning system, hence they were made to be destroyed or they dispelled themselves. But now he could feel the Jinchuriki's immense chakra signature. It was getting closer of its own accord. What's the problem, Itachi? His partner asked with a toothy grin. Is Jiraiya? No. Naruto-kun is coming to us. And he knows who we are. He's giving himself up. Damn it, Samahata was getting hungry. I do not care for your swords, appetite. Itachi's tone became haunting. Hey, cold as always. Kisame flashed another toothy grin before falling in step with Itachi. With their target coming to them, instead of fleeing, they could walk like civilians. Naruto-kun, what are you thinking? Oh 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 oh. Orochimaru grinned as he watched his newest experiment in combat. Kukuku, it's so nice watching an experiment come to fruition. Kabuto was sparring with the young girl while Orochimaru was examining her through the one-way glass. Kabuto was testing out her bone armor against his chakra scalpels. The girl showed certain bodily mutations that utilized her bloodline. Unlike Kimamaro's bone armor, which was a layer just beneath his skin, the girl created her own technique, dubbed Hakatsu Ama, bleached bone armor, that took the place of her clothing and doubled as armor. The bones formed a sleeveless, strapless, body-hugging robe that left her back open. The armor was horizontally segmented over her abs. 3 segments, each covering 2 abs each while leaving her sides and hips exposed for sideways movement. The only clothing she wore was a pair of ragged hot pants, also white, to cover her modesty. Again and again Kabuto struck her, not caring if she screamed. She didn't anymore though, much to Orochimaru's pleasure. He'd have to terminate her if the person with the strongest curse seal, equal to the heaven curse seal, was weak. Kukuku, all she wants is to surpass Kimamaro. I won't teach her any of the dances like I did with Kimamaro and his clan scrolls. No, I want a rivalry like Naruto-kun has with Sasuke-kun. A rivalry that I can profit from. Kukuku, yes, she'll continue to make her own techniques. Then I'll possess her and teach myself the dances. After I become a ninjutsu master thanks to Sasuke's Sharingan, I'll become a kenjutsu master. I'll declare war on Leaf again, this time watching from the grass like a snake, copying all the techniques used by Leaf Ninja. And then I'll kill Itachi, giving my precious Sasuke-kun his revenge like he wanted. Orochimaru had been able to find out 2 facts of the Mangekyo Sharingan. 1. It gave the user several unique abilities. 2. It degraded the user's eyesight whether they used it or not. After getting Kabuto's report that Kakashi had fallen prey to Itachi's Mangekyo technique, despite having the Sharingan, he deduced that one must either have the Mangekyo Sharingan or it was something only an Uchiha by blood could resist. There was no way Orochimaru was going blind, he doesn't know about the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, so he would kill Itachi, but only after he was in control of Sasuke's body. He couldn't avoid the risk of the boy developing the Mangekyo after killing his brother, seeing how obsessed he was with him. Kukuku, soon I'll become the ultimate ninja. Orochimaru was brought out of his thoughts by a scream. Looks like Kabuto's finished testing her. Oh 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 oh. Hello Itachi, Kisame. Nice of you to join us this evening. Naruto and Yakumo both stood up from the table they were eating at and offered adjacent seats to the two Akatsuki members. This was not the greeting they were expecting. At all. Violence, swearing even, but not pulling up a seat and inviting them to join. As if they were expected. And who was this girl with Naruto? Brown hair, purple kimono with a red gauze vest underneath. Normal Yakumo clothes in anime. The girl's face was pouting and had an almost sickly glint to it. Itachi resolved to get to the bottom of this. Naruto was a lot different than when Itachi had previously seen him. Gone was the orange eyesore, now Naruto was clothed in black. He wore a black sleeveless muscle shirt with a black jacket draped over his shoulders. The jacket had two orange stripes going from the shoulder to the cuffs. The sleeves of the jacket hung emptily at his sides. Naruto's eyes reflected something. For the first time in Itachi's life, his analytical skills failed. Of course, his partner chose to express his surprise for the both of them. What the hell's going on here? Itachi, did you? No. I have a slightly better idea than you, but let's see what they want. We will join you, Naruto-kun. Itachi sat down and after more than a moment's hesitation, Kisame joined them. This better be good. Naruto took a deep breath. We want to join the Akatsuki. Oh 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 oh. Sasuke smirked as he continued with his chakra control, chakra capacity and his physical training all rolled into one exercise. Doing suicides on an underwater lake. Puberty was just hitting the boy and Sasuke was going to milk the testosterone in him for everything it was worth. First he needed to get his body into shape and his chakra refined before he learned the jutsus Orochimaru taught him. At least that's what Orochimaru told him. And it was much easier said than done. How does the Dobi do this? It must be that red chakra. It couldn't be that Naruto actually worked for something, could it? No, Naruto's too weak, it has to be that red chakra. Sasuke returned to his training safely underground. Oh 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 oh. Itachi smiled. I thought so. But why join us? I am the reason Sasuke left. I know about that. But the point is I need training, the village hates me and the Akatsuki needs the tailed beasts for something. Seems to me if I join it takes care of all my problems. The village hates you too, huh? Kisami's eyes were cloudy as if looking at a time long past. I was known as the monster of the mist. They treated me like a rabid dog. After that kind of treatment, can you really blame me for joining Zabuza in trying to assassinate him? No, Yakumo spoke for the first time. I too was treated badly, but this is no time for sap stories. How do we join? We fight. You impress us and you become junior members like Toby. However, Itachi let Kisame finish off for him. You don't impress us, we cut you up and take you back to base to have your demon extracted. Kisame finished with his toothy grin. TM. Fine with me, fish sticks. What? I'm going to kill you, Blondie. Kisame exploded off his chair and took a swipe at Naruto, barehanded. Kisami's weight caused the table to collapse, but by then Naruto was at the exit. Yakumo-chan, have a duel with Itachi while I fight with Fishy-kun. Call it an entrance exam. Naruto. In all Kisami's years he had never lost his cool like this. It was quite comical to watch the S-class missing ninja smash out of the restaurant with all the grace of an ox. Yakumo looked up at Itachi. Itachi looked back at Yakumo. Itachi's emotionless visage didn't change when he suddenly burst into ravens while his floating head said in a haughty monotone, "You are already in my technique." That was before Yakumo burst into ravens too, laughing the whole time. And you are caught in mine, Itachi Uchiha. The whole landscape began to disappear. Oh 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 oh. With Naruto and Kisame. Naruto and Kisame were running across the water of a river, the latter was obviously fuming. Get back here so I can. Turn me into fish food. Yeah. No wait. Damn you. I'll skin you alive. Kisame finally brought out Samahata from his back. Naruto started laughing and smacked his butt with his right hand, howling with laughter. Naruto turned and looked back at Kisame. Ha 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 ha, I'm going to have fun with you, Kisame-chan. Damn, Jinchuriki first insults my heritage then my manhood. I'll kill him. Lol, I don't even want to go there. Did Kisame's mom get a little frisky with a fish or the Sanbi? LMFAO. Die kid. Kisame swung his sword and crushed Naruto's neck with the bandaged blade. Only for Naruto to disappear in a puff of smoke. Damn Cage Bunshin. Where is he? It was then that Kisame heard the dreaded swirling and humming of the Rasengan. Oh 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 oh. With Itachi and Yakumo, ravens flew around the cloudless sky. The sky was an endless blue stretching on forever. There was no ground, no sense of up and down. Itachi was shocked. His genjutsu technique had been copied, taken over and finally used against him. And his Sharingan couldn't pierce her illusion. Interesting. A group of ravens reformed into Itachi. It was unsettling. There was no gravity that he could sense, no sense of balance at all. And that unnerved Itachi greatly. He appreciated the complexities involved with genjutsu, how you had to fool a person's 5 primary senses. But to disrupt one person's sense of balance, a sense not controlled consciously, required a mastery of genjutsu not even he had. And to fool the Sharingan as well, unheard of. It was known that the only chance of fooling a Sharingan was with another Sharingan. Apparently this girl can do it too. Suddenly a table and 2 chairs appeared in the air. In it sat Yakumo and Itachi, their respective ravens fading away. No way. She's controlling my genjutsu. How are you doing this? Itachi asked, his voice not giving away anything. Yakumo smiled and held up a small, pocket-sized canvas in her left hand. Painted on it were 2 chairs and a table floating in a blue background. It was more of a notepad, consisting of many small canvases held together at the top with metal rings. Yakumo's malicious smile surfaced as she flipped over the next page of the notepad. Itachi was more than a little disturbed with the next picture. It showed him being crucified with the stake through his heart. Only problem was his heart was outside his chest, impaled to a table that looked like the one in front of him. Shit. Itachi felt himself being pierced by nails in his wrists and feet. A stake appeared on the table. Yakumo looked on as Itachi felt a tugging in his chest. Oh 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 oh. With Kisame and Naruto, Naruto drove his Rasengan through Kisame's back, only for him to turn into water. Damn Mizu Bunshin. Naruto barely used a substitute in time to avoid a swipe that would have crushed his lungs. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. 100 Narutos suddenly appeared and attacked Kisame. Kisame roared and swung Samahata, carving massive swaths through the Naruto clones. Naruto waited calmly while Kisame finished off his clones. Kisame walked up to Naruto, grinning savagely. I yield, Naruto said in a slightly subdued tone of voice. Huh, was Kisame's only response. The boy who said he will never give up, was yielding. What the hell was going on? I cannot use the Kyuubi's chakra because that will alert the Konoha ninjas that I am still alive. I can't summon for the same reason. My only techniques left that are suitable for battle are the substitute, Kage Bunshin and Rasengan. I only got a hit on your clone because I took it by surprise. Everything else is just too predictable to work. Naruto walked right up to Kisame and said, I need more training. I need more jutsus. That's why I need to join. And I need to disappear before Konoha gets over the disaster I left them with and figures out that I might still live. This town is way too close to Konoha. We need to get out. Kisame stopped moving before his toothy grin became a smirk. Hi, Shorty-kun. I'm not short. Oh 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 oh. With Itachi and Yakumo, Tsukuyomi. Itachi's eyes morphed into the 3-pronged shuriken. To resort to the Mangekyo to break a genjutsu, not cast one. This girl is something else. After the genjutsu was broken, the girl put her palms up. Please stop Itachi-sensei. Genjutsu is all I can do. I want to join to broaden my skills. You, Itachi Uchiha, are a prodigy in all forms of ninja combat and a genjutsu master yourself. I want to learn those skills from the best. Itachi nodded before looking around. He realized that they were back in the restaurant, sitting across a broken table. As far as the customers knew, they were having an intense staring match. Itachi silently nodded, his eyes going back into the Sharingan. As they both got up, Yakumo said, "You may want to have those checked out." Itachi lurched and looked at his hands. They had 2 bleeding holes through the wrist, the same place he was crucified in the genjutsu. Itachi Uchiha was gobsmacked for the first time in his career. He could only say one word. Nani. Naruto grinned foxily as he looked down at the sweaty form of his girlfriend, Yakumo, being suckled by 2 Naruto clones. Her hair was damp and spilled out onto the pillow, her legs were slightly open, showing Naruto her shaved pussy, now visibly moist from her arousal. Naruto licked his suddenly parched lips with and spread her legs further apart with his hands, causing her flower to open even more. Her virginal fluids looked like liquid stitches, trying vainly to hold the wound closed. Naruto couldn't take it anymore, and brought his 8-inch dick to her entrance, the tip sinking in and being coated by her juices. He looked into her eyes, which were sparkling with need, before burying himself in her with one stroke, breaking her hymen and pressing his bodyweight straight down and into her. Yakumo gasped as the pain hit her, but made no sound afterwards. Not even a whimper. "Are you okay, Yakumo-chan?" Naruto whispered steamily into her earlobe. Yakumo groaned as she felt Naruto's breath on her ear, then gasped as she felt him bite her earlobe. Naruto began trailing kisses down her ear and to her throat, Yakumo panting all the while. Fuck me Naruto-kun. Oh 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 oh. In the aftermath of their lovemaking, Naruto was grinning like an idiot. But now it was business after pleasure. Yakumo-chan, did you write down what Sasori taught you about seals? Yakumo looked up from Naruto's bare chest and responded. Yes Naruto-kun. But what's the point? Sasori-sensei is hardly a seal master and you have the forbidden scroll. So what's the point? Yakumo turned back and lay on his chest again. Naruto sighed in content before explaining. After a year and a half of experimentation and being self-taught, I now know tons about the basics and even how to read some of the effects of complex seals. But the middle ground, the intermediate and advanced studies of seal, I have nothing. That's why I asked you to write them down as he taught you. Brilliant Naruto-kun. I knew you weren't as stupid as you look. What do you mean? Hey, I resent that. Why did you go out with me then? Yakumo grinned. Because of your stamina. You were screwing me for 4 hours Naruto. No one else can do that. Oh, you make me so sad Yakumo-chan. Sniff, I guess that means no sex until we get back, in another 1.5 years. Yakumo slammed her lips against his before that heinous thought so much as entered his mind. Don't ever say something like that again Naruto-kun. Now, come, I want seconds. Oh 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 oh. Hinata was panting as crouched down in exhaustion, surrounded the bodies of the Cloud team that was sent after her. Her eyes had become sightless long ago as her mind continued to replay their deaths, over and over. Flashback. Hinata had barely made it out of the danger zone, meaning about 20 miles from the prison before collapsing in complete and utter exhaustion. There was no time for thoughts or even emotion, she passed out far too quickly. Oh 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 oh. When she woke up she was in a dark place and was very itchy. As more of her senses returned to her, Hinata realized that she was moving, and the itchiness was actually some coarse fiber. She immediately began hyperventilation and turned on her Byakugan. Old childhood scars were being brought to the surface as she found herself once again, kidnapped. And carried in a sack that was eerily similar to the one she had been captured in when she was only 3. A glance at their headbands confirmed her theory. Cloud Ninja. Again? What am I? Capture Central. I'm pretty sure I don't walk around with an I'm Hinata Hyuga, capture me for the Byakugan. Sign on my back. But now I'm not a helpless girl anymore. Naruto wants a crime and I need to escape with a reputation. I guess that makes these cloud ninja my ticket. I am so going to hate myself for enjoying this, but I really do want to see Naruto-kun. And kill that hussy of a girlfriend. Hinata created a blade of chakra and sliced her bag to pieces, killing her holder with a fatal strike to the back of his spine. What the? Hinata killed her first Bolt Anbu member with a jukin to the heart before the other two ninja wizened up to the fact that she was now free. The Kumo ninja began making hand signs for a jutsu whilst the Bolt Anbu engaged her in taijutsu. This would usually be suicide, but the Bolt member wasn't even trying to attack her. He was just attempting to divert her attention away from the Tokubetsu Jonin making hand signs. Little bitch, I'll cut off your arms. The Bolt member threw two kunai on Hinata's shoulders. Now for any competent ninja, throwing two kunai at a ninja who knows you're there is the same as throwing your kunai into the river. You'll just waste all your ammo. Unless you pump your arms full of lightning chakra, increasing your arm's speed and turning the two kunai into unblockable blades. My computer says, unblockable, isn't a word. Any help guys? I think it is. 3 cheers for Killer Bee's pencil. Almost killed Kisame with a pencil. Hinata was forced to contort herself to dodge the kunai, which appeared to be shooting stars to her Byakugan. The Jonin took this opportunity to launch into a spinning kick which slammed into Hinata's chin. This combined with her awkward stance after dodging the kunai sent her flying back with a bleeding lip. This was all the time the Tokubetsu Jonin member needed, as he finished his hand seal for an A-class capture technique. Rero no Jutsu. The Tokubetsu Jonin yelled as he extended his right hand. Lightning arched and crackled from his hand before firing out and blasting Hinata. Hinata became completely enveloped in a cocoon of lightning. But history has a way of repeating itself. A Tokubetsu Jonin had learnt the signature jutsu of the Nadaime Reikage, and Hinata had learnt the same jutsu that had destroyed it. But that was from the outside only. Protection of the 8 trigrams, 64 palms. Hinata yelled as her arms moved like a hummingbird's. This move had become instinct for her to use against a powerful, frontal attack. The lightning was only stopped for half a second before it moved past the narrow barrier and attempted to envelope her. Hinata quickly extended the jutsu and made it into a dome before trying to figure out what to do. Meanwhile the Tokubetsu Jonin was smirking up a storm. The Rero no Jutsu was truly perfect for capturing lone Hyuga. The Kaiden was useless against it, only delaying the inevitable. Once cast the Rero no Jutsu used almost no chakra to maintain, similar to its water element cousin. Whilst the Kaiden could protect the Hyuga from capture, it used a large amount of chakra that grew increasingly larger if it was maintained for long periods of time. She was only delaying the inevitable. Hinata remembered one of the only useful things her father taught her. Her family's history. With the knowledge of a previous attempt in her mind, Hinata realized that it was only by combining her 2 jutsu that a single Hyuga could ever hope to escape from this prison. Even then, that Hyuga would be exhausted. I'll do it for Naruto-kun. 8 trigrams 64 palms. Hinata yelled as she attacked the prison that was slowly eroding her chakra strings. 2 palms. 4 palms. 8 palms. 16 palms. The lightning stopped encroaching. 32 palms. The prison became crack. 64 palms. The prison shattered like glass before exploding into multicolored bursts of chakra. Hinata charged out of the cloud and straight at the Tokubetsu Jonin, powering up a Rasengan in her right hand. Before he could get over his shock, she had closed the distance between them and yelled, Rasengan. Before plowing it into the Tokubetsu Jonin's heart. Zetsu's 2 halves grinned as he observed the battle between a young Hyuga and some cloud ninja attempting to kidnap her. Her ruthlessness and the ease at which she ambushed and killed them by exploded out of her bag, like a jack-in-the-box from hell. And then her last words before she fell unconscious only increased his interest. I did it, Naruto-kun. I changed a little bit. She knows the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Interesting. Should we take her to Leader Sama? Hi. I wonder what her relationship with Naruto is. Zetsu walked over to the unconscious body of Hinata before using his Mayfly technique to teleport them both to one of the Akatsuki bases, in the land of mountains. Oh 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 oh. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Yakumo. Yakumo-chan, check out this room. It's even more sterile than Sasori-san's room. Naruto cheerily waved at her. Yakumo smiled at his tone. It seemed that not even Deidara could make Naruto serious for a long period of time. Naruto was quite the kid when he got the chance to be endlessly curious and always getting himself into trouble. Yakumo followed Naruto into the room. She was dressed in the standard Akatsuki robes without the hat. She hated what it did to her hair. The closer she got to Naruto's location, the more her genjutsu senses tingled. Wary that even Naruto may be a fake, she formed the hand sign and a whispered, Kai. Before releasing a chakra pulse. No reaction, no fading away, nor did the walls look fake. Yakumo turned around the corner and spotted Naruto bouncing up and down whilst looking at a wall. Yakumo-chan, there's something in this wall. It's heavily trapped, and under a genjutsu that is beyond my level to dispel. So do you want me to dispel it, Naruto-kun? Yakumo walked up to Naruto and wrapped her arm around him. She didn't see what the big deal was. Naruto was not the type to get excited over dispelling a genjutsu. Now Explosion on the other hand. I need a puppet of yours to explore the blast zone and activate any traps that still remain. Blast zone. Oh shit. Yakumo was barely able to substitute in time before Naruto created a clay toad and detonated it. Katsu. Boom. The wall exploded, sending Naruto's laughing body flying through the air and into another wall, cracking it. Yakumo shunshined in front of Naruto and punched him in the face, giving him a bloody nose and a minor concussion. Of course, that was nothing compared to what feminine fury Yakumo was about to unleash on Naruto. You idiot. What kind of moron detonates an explosive when they're a few feet away? Are you trying to get me killed? Yakumo lifted him up by his shirt whilst Naruto privately whined to the Kyuubi. Fur ball. What the hell happened to a weak body? She's as strong as Sakura-chan. Kit. That's one of the mysteries of life. Hee hee. Sorry Yakumo-chan. Pretty please, can you use that puppet of yours to get all the traps? How about I use you, Naruto-kun? Cue insanely evil smirk. After all, it's the only thing you're good for. Ah. Wait Yakumo-chan. I'm sorry. Please. Naruto held his hand behind his head and winced when her grip on his collar tightened. Naruto began to sweat badly. Okay. Yakumo smiled and dropped him, turning around and opening a scroll that had poofed into her hands. It revealed a sealing scroll with the kanji for starfish. This is Hitode, my own custom Kugutsu. Wooden puppet, Yakumo said as she released the puppet. It looked like two black starfish had being overlaid on each other, with the one on the back showing up between the gaps in the arms of the one in front. The one in front was also half again the size of the starfish at the back. In the middle of the front starfish there was a kanji for water. Yakumo attached chakra strings to the 5 arms of the starfish at the back. This puppet was definitely different and custom, due to the lack of joints. Yakumo had truly taken Sasori's teaching into her heart. Since the joints were the puppet's weak points, she made one without them. She moved her left hand and the top starfish began to spin like a buzz saw, whilst the lower starfish remained still, connected to her chakra strings. The puppet flew into the blast zone and immediately traps began to fire. And kept on firing for a full 3 minutes before ceasing. Yakumo twitched her fingers and Hitode emerged from the smoke. The top starfish was covered in kunai and senbon whilst the bottom of the starfish barely damaged. Yakumo still frowned. She'd have to upgrade the defensive capabilities of the top starfish. The bottom starfish was critical to her control of the puppet and needed to remain undamaged. But if she made it too heavy it would lose speed. Thank you Yakumo-chan. Now let's go and see what we found. Naruto waltzed right back into the blast zone. Yakumo sighed. She could have just dispelled the genjutsu and Naruto could have disarmed the traps, but no, Naruto had to vaporize the entire wall. Whoa, Yakumo-chan, take a look at this. Naruto's tone of voice had changed to a monotone, meaning he was getting serious. Yakumo ran in and prepared herself for anything. But nothing could have prepared her to come face to face with a giant, impaled snake. Ah, Yakumo's heart became a hummingbird. Calm down Yakumo-chan. Take a look at these. I think it's Orochimaru's. Naruto's voice came from deeper within the chamber, obscured with floating dust from the explosion. No light reached to other side of the room save a disturbing green light. Yakumo shivered. Definitely Orochimaru. Swallowing her fear, she walked into the disturbing green light with a calm facade. This is ridiculous. I'm a kunoichi trained by Sasori-sensei. It is one of my life's ambitions to turn my old teacher into a hitokugutsu, human puppet. But I'm scared of a dark room with a green light. Get a hold of yourself, girl. Yakumo spotted Naruto poring over some notes left scattered on a desk, obviously left there by Orochimaru. Yakumo was struck with an odd sense of déjà vu. Did Orochimaru look just like this, years ago? A young man poring over notes. Incredible. Yakumo-chan. This is where he perfected the Fushi Tensei, living corpse reincarnation. With it, he could jump bodies to live forever. Naruto had a creepy smile on his face that appeared to be totally out of place. It scared Yakumo a bit. You're not considering it, Naruto-kun, right? Yakumo was afraid of the answer. Nope. No telling what it would do to the seal. But, if all else fails, it's an emergency backup if your current body fails you or if we can't find a cure. It's at times like these I wish we had Ba-chan with us. If she had enough free time I know she could figure out a cure. But at least now we have a contingency plan. Suddenly Naruto frowned. Sorry Yakumo-chan, it seems our senseis for the next year and a half are here. Quickly now, we need to evacuate. Why? Naruto-kun. Because I'm almost done forming a giant explosive toad to blow this place up in a fabulous display of art. Naruto quickly sealed the notes and began running. Yakumo was not far behind him. He jumped and spun in the air like a corkscrew, Akatsuki cloak turning round with him. A giant puff of smoke appeared and a clay toad as high as the ceiling landed behind them. Ha ha ha. Katsu. Naruto wore that same crazy smile of his sensei as he detonated the explosive toad. The blast wave sent them both flying, with Naruto expertly catching a flying Yakumo in his arms as he went flying and skidding on the ground with his back. Before Yakumo could do any yelling at him, he closed the gap between their lips and used his tongue to coax out those moans he loved. Naruto's hands gripped her ass and began molesting them, causing a cute blush to appear on Yakumo's face. Naruto-san, Yakumo-san. Your senseis are here. Zetsu emerged from the ground in front of Naruto and Yakumo, almost scaring the crap out of them. Ha! Zetsu-san, don't scare me like that. Naruto pointed an accusing finger at the man-eater. Zetsu-san, you pervert. Yakumo suddenly had the phantom of her Edo demon in hellish flames behind her. And knowing her genjutsu abilities, Zetsu wasn't willing to wait for it to become real. Ah, run away you moron. Zetsu quickly sunk back into the ground, avoiding a falling anvil by milliseconds. Before Yakumo could go on a rampage, she was quickly spun around and introduced to a toe-curling kiss by her boyfriend, who began grinding his knee into her core. A throaty moan was released from her throat from Naruto's attention. Naruto grinned and left her just like that, wanting something that she wouldn't get until another year and a half. Yakumo threw a kunai at the back of his head. A poof of smoke was all the revenge she got. Naruto. Run away. Naruto thought as he took off in the opposite direction. Thankfully he wasn't spotted by Yakumo. Oh 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 oh. Nagato, what should we do with her? Konan gestured at the unconscious Hyuga princess who'd being dumped here by Zetsu. Her clothing was ruined and what was left looked like prison clothes. She appeared to be suffering from a severe case of chakra exhaustion and even weirder, kept on muttering, Naruto-kun, even while unconscious. She is exactly what we don't want in this organization, a famous figure that will bring down the wolves on us. So we hide her, and get someone to train her in reconnaissance. You're talking about Zetsu. Hi. Toby can fill in for any member that dies in Naruto and Yakumo are a full-time pair. Sooner or later Zetsu will be by himself again. That's because his abilities in reconnaissance cannot be matched. Conan quickly caught on. But a Hyuga could do it. Hi. Pain nodded, and Zetsu will keep her hidden, provided he doesn't eat her. After our new members are trained we will begin our missions with enough of a buffer to cover any fatalities. Kakuzu has already captured the Nanabi. Where will you train Naruto? Conan asked. Human path, usually I stick with Japanese names in my fics, but on certain occasions I use English. It is much easier to know which path does what when you don't have to continuously search for the definition. For this reasons the paths will be in English, has sought them out and Itachi is already there. He will be trained in AIM, our home. Yakumo will be trained by Itachi in a place of his choosing. Conan nodded. Hi. Be safe, Nagato. Yakumo smiled as she saw Itachi walking towards her. Finally I can be trained by a full genjutsu master. Just you wait Kurenai-sensei, I will definitely surpass you. She subconsciously straightened in the presence of her new sensei. He walked up to her and stared at her with his emotionless gaze. Yakumo Kurama, it is time for you to come with me. He turned his back to her and walked away, calm and secure of his own power. His walk and poise was something Yakumo wanted to emulate one day, hopefully she too would be that confident after her training. They walked for about 2 hours until they reached what appeared to be an abandoned temple. Upon closer examination, it had faded Uchiha fans painted on it. Itachi took a seat on the stone throne and faced her. You will go through a year of Konoha Anbu training, the same amount I went through in war times. This will correct any deficiencies you have in your taijutsu, ninjutsu and kenjutsu. I will not accept any excuses. Hi sensei. Yakumo put on a determined face, unknowingly looking just like Naruto. Itachi smirked. Then let us begin. Oh 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 oh. Welcome Naruto. Pain's human path greeted Naruto. They were still in the Akatsuki base in the land of mountains but they were in a completely different chamber. This one looked almost completely spherical and made out of dull brown clay. It was also enormous. A new body Pain. Well that is an interesting surprise. I don't suppose you'll tell me how you do that. Pain was stoic as always. You will be trained by me in chakra control and taijutsu. You have 1 year to master my human-style taijutsu. Failure is not an option. Hey, finally a competent taijutsu teacher. That's fine with me, I always was an in-your-face kind of shinobi. Naruto grinned as he saw the kind of malignant grace Pain's movements had and swore to have the same grace at the end of his training. Oh 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 oh. Hinata woke up naked on a cold wooden floor. She may have been groggy but she was still a shinobi and was quickly alert and looking for her clothes. Byakugan. Hinata activated her bloodline to aid in her search. She also was feeling to check if she was raped. A negative result on both counts. But there was a note on the floor next to her. It simply read, "Your clothes are north." She crumpled up the note and looked through the walls of her prison. I'm in the center of a small town. And the walls around me have no door. In most cases this was not a problem for a shinobi like Hinata, who had mastered the Rasengan. But she was in a very populated area and a Rasengan would definitely draw attention to her nakedness. So I have to get myself out, move through an entire town and head north. All the while without being seen. Brilliant. Hinata tried to do a transformation jutsu, only for it to fail. What's wrong with my chakra? Hinata could definitely still use it, her Byakugan was proof of this. She held out her hand and a flawless Rasengan formed. What's going on? My jutsu remain the same. Except for the transformation jutsu. Wait, is that a seal on my arm? Hinata's Byakugan spotted a seal with the kanji for restrict on it on her right shoulder. A seal that stops a single jutsu. Suddenly her Byakugan spotted something else. Something from her worst nightmares. Kumo Nin. Oh 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 oh. 1 year later. Experiment 37, or 37 for short, was currently in the med bay. She thought she would be able to equal Sasuke in single combat. She had improved, but what chance did a 12-year-old have against a ninja of Sasuke's potential? She hated him. She hated Orochimaru for what he did to her and Kabuto for making it happen. She had no memories of her previous life, and her existence here was just one battle after another. She would be forced to fight for everything: food, water, and shelter. She had lost count of the sleepless nights on the cold floor. But she was stronger. In fact, she declared herself Sasuke's equal and challenged him to a duel. Flashback. So you want to fight Sasuke-kun? 37. I guess I could arrange for a spar amongst teammates. 37 didn't let Orochimaru's poisonous words get to her. She had no doubt that Sasuke would try to kill her to test his power. Sasuke-kun, you have a sparring partner. Achin, was all Sasuke said as he took his stance, right hand half drawing his chikudo from its sheath. 37 drew her bone-short swords, sheathed at her waist. It had taken a long time to create those swords, as her bloodline was not as strong as Kimimaro. But she did have a wind nature chakra. Wind and earth, but she wasn't sure if the earth nature was from Kimimaro's cells rather than her own. Concentrate. 37. She assumed her stance. Her right arm curling horizontally across her chest with her right sword pointing exactly behind her, with left arm raised up above and slightly behind her head, before curling forwards with the blade pointing down at her opponent like a serpent. Orochimaru saw her stance and his smile widened. Excellent. She may not have Kimimaro's raw power, but she is far superior to him and Sasuke in Kenjutsu. And the amount of time it took her to form those swords has paid dividends. They are long swords rather than the short swords Kimimaro used. Sasuke dashed forwards, using his impressive speed, and drew his chikudo in a reverse grip. 37 never lost her poise, giving her a dangerous look. As he slashed at her, aiming to disembowel her, she lowered the point of her right sword and waited. At the very last second, when Sasuke had begun his horizontal swing, her right arm moved forwards and clashed with his sword. His chikudo had been stopped to the right of his body. That, along with his forwards momentum, made his position very awkward. 37's left hand lashed out like a viper striking from above. Only Sasuke's Sharingan saved his head from becoming a kebab. This forced him to move his head left, further transferring his weight away from his right hand, which was holding back 37's right sword. Sasuke realized that he had less than a second before she brought down her left sword and severed his right arm. In slow motion he watched as her left blade turned vertical, no doubt to get ready to sever his right arm with a downward slash. 37 smiled coldly. Got you. Sasuke made his decision. Using the power struggle between his blade and hers, her relaxed his arm and spun around like a top, using her power to speed his rotation. He raised his right leg in preparation to use a leaf hurricane that he had copied from Lee. That's when it all went wrong. 37's Kenjutsu style was all about poise. In any of her ready stances she would stay perfectly still before counter-attacking flawlessly. By bringing her left blade down she may indeed have severed his left arm, but that would destroy her poise by almost crossing her arms and would put her left sword in front of the path of her right sword. Two big no-nos in her fighting style. Instead she bluffed. Her left arm was in a slightly awkward position due to her failed skewering, and thus she rotated her wrist to put it into a more natural position. Knowing her opponent would see even that movement in the heat of battle due to the Sharingan, she stopped pushing forwards with her right arm. She wouldn't give any ground up with her right arm, but she wasn't pushing back either. And then Sasuke executed his rotation. Without the added support of 37's right arm, his rotation was slowed from near instant to very fast. So fast in fact that Sasuke had managed to turn in almost a complete circle before her right blade lashed across his chest. He was able to push himself back in time, which saved him from being disemboweled. Instead, he just had a deep bleeding cut across his chest. As he jumped back, 37 used the momentum of her right sword to assume another ready stance, taking one step forwards with her left leg, transferring her weight to that foot. Both her arms were extended, this time with the left sword in front of her. The sword was held at just above waist height and pointed slightly down whilst it was held across her body, guarding her waist and stomach. Her right arm was behind her, but this time fully extended at just above shoulder height, with the sword almost running back along her arm. The tip was pointing right at Sasuke. She seems to block with one sword and stab with another, only slashing if her blocked sword finds an opening. A rather simple attack pattern. Simple, but still dangerous. And her footwork and balance are flawless. She has only taken a single step forwards during our entire exchange. Deciding to try a new tactic, Sasuke sprinted forwards before turning and trying to circle around her. Suddenly a mud clone formed behind her. Without making a single hand sign, it blew out a great breakthrough jutsu. That stopped Sasuke as his tracks and forced him to stop in front of 37. Not good. But it seemed that his theory of her attack pattern held true, as she initiated with her left hand this time, but still causing the inevitable clash of their blades. Her right hand lashed out like a viper, point aiming for his exposed heart. But Sasuke predicted this even before his Sharingan saw it. The blade was only halfway through its motions when Sasuke sidestepped it. This time he turned away from the blade, now sideways to 37 with the blade in front of him. Now Sasuke applied his full strength and better stance to their clashing blades, causing 37 to waver. But this was where it once again all went to hell for Sasuke. Her descending right sword, which was 2/3 of the way to stabbing empty air, was suddenly spun. Like a pencil, the sword spun just above her arm, turning in her hand until it was gripped horizontally in a normal grip. Then the stabbing motion became a slashing motion, as 37 used the spinning momentum of her blade to speed up her slashing motion. She angled it up, aiming to pass it through a part of his shoulder and behead him. It was still lacking strength, so 37 activated her level 1 curse seal. Just a touch, which resulted in a small pattern appearing on the skin hidden beneath her armor. This quick boost of speed and strength carried her sword through the top part of Sasuke's shoulder and towards his neck. Oh 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 oh. Naruto panted as he sparred with Human Path, fighting him to a standstill. Their shins met each other and their fists were held by the other person's hand. Pain relaxed his stance. Good. You have mastered my taijutsu. Now you must complete your Rasengan. This is my last challenge to you. The rest of your training is up to you. Hi. Thank you, sensei. Naruto bowed before making his way out of the indoor training ground and into the endless rain of aim. Return back to headquarters after 6 months. Got it, sensei. Oh 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 oh. Good, Yakumo. You have completed the 1-year training course for Leaf Anbu. Now I will truly begin to train you. Huh, was Yakumo's intelligent reply. Itachi sighed. For the next 6 months I will train you exclusively in Genjutsu. When your training is complete you will no longer need to paint to cast Genjutsu. Wicked. Again, Yakumo's reply tested Itachi's vocabulary. Hinata sighed tiredly as she finally laid sight on her sensei. This creepy plant man had been tormenting her for an entire year, taking her stuff and even kidnapping her before making her get out of awkward situations. But it was training. Her Byakugan now reached for 20 kilometers and she had learned to completely repress her chakra. Meet us in the land of mountains in 6 months' time. Your final test will be finding us. Why would I look for you? Hinata was a little miffed about this entire year. Because we have Naruto. Oh 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 37 growled as she was beaten yet again by Kabuto. She was still pissed off that Orochimaru had stopped her blade with his a year ago, saving Sasuke's life. Since then she hadn't sparred with anyone but Kabuto, who continued to wipe the floor with her. One day Kabuto, I will kill you. And Sasuke. And especially you, Orochimaru. 6 months later, Naruto was walking back to the Akatsuki base in the Land of Mountains. He had one final growth spurt, hitting 6 feet. His clothes hadn't changed much, they were still the same Akatsuki uniform with a straw hat. But there was one major difference. What looked like a mace was mounted on his back, wrapped in yellow cloth. The yellow cloth really stood out and the mace looked like it could be wielded with one hand or two. Hey, I finally completed my seal's training. And mastered Orochimaru's jutsu. Naruto looked over his shoulder at his mace. This is art.